Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of the show. Coming up in this week, CM Punk gets crazy, Ace Steel gets rabid, the Elite get fined and suspended. So
And
much more
stripped.
coming up. What a show, what a big week. Sit back, relax, get a drink. You're going to need one for this story. Another week of the show starts now.
It's the show. Welcome to the
What is it?
show. Huh?
What is this?
I was doing a theme song.
You going into business for yourself now? You're
Hey,
making your own
hey.
thing?
No. I was just doing a theme song.
Yeah, you making up your own thing? Trying to get it over?
Yeah, it would have been over if you didn't interrupt it. Now we'll
No, I
never
had to
hear
cut it out right away.
it. So I know we want to start off with the most important story on our agenda. Um, it's huge news. Everybody's talking about it. You can't look on one website without somebody addressing it, especially in our circles. And that is the fact that fucking Trinity, U.S. Trinity Trojans are 0-3. What the fuck are they doing? These motherfuckers, I've never seen them 0-3. Do you remember Trinity ever sucking?
No, they. I guess they don't have the Tongans there anymore or something. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, they're under a first
Usually,
year. Their Lineweaver's son is uh, is the head coach now. I guess Coach Jensen, he retired.
oh,
So apparently
got fired.
the apple grew on a different tree with that one.
Well,
But
is this his first year?
yeah, it is. But no, keep in
Okay.
mind though,
Well,
Lineweaver went straight to the playoffs. They lost to Lamar in the first round.
he had a better team. I would assume.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the roster. There's a couple Tongans and or Samoans. So I don't think it's
Probably, probably still the brothers of the ones we know.
that. Or a cousin.
Yeah, that lineage is still going on,
Yep.
or
But to
that
start,
tree.
but Trinity started off the season playing Prosper. They lost 17-13. Then they
What's
Heath.
Prosper anyway? Was that even a school?
Well, that it gets better. Rockwall Heath was their next opponent, which I thought was a made up school.
Never heard of it.
Right.
That's
They
too.
lost 68-38.
You let Rockwell score 68 points on you? Come on.
Rockwall Heath. They have a hyphen. Like, how are you gonna let a hyphenated school beat you like that? It's dead. Just last
Like you
night,
couldn't even point that out on the map if you needed to.
right? And even if you did point it out in the map, you're not gonna remember it because who cares? So then last night they played Marcus. Flower Mound, Ohio State lookalikes.
Well, that's going to be more. That one you can get. Marcus is a name brand.
Yeah, that's the only
Not
school I
Rockwell
I
Heath.
heard of. But yeah, they lost 30-20. So the only good thing is these are three non-division or non-district games. They start their district
So
game next week against Boswell, and yeah,
that's
I
a
don't know.
district game?
Yeah,
What is Boswell?
Boswell's
I don't
currently 3-0 is what Boswell's doing.
know. They're what?
They're 3-0. That's all you need to
Oh.
know.
Oh.
So it's going to be
That's.
interesting. Now that makes the November 3rd game against LD Bell like super super interesting because like 30 straight. So if Aaron Lineweaver comes in to further his family's legacy and he loses to LD Bell in his first year, that ain't good.
Yeah. And I mean, at some point, they're going to have to win one. like LD Bill. They're gonna have to win one at some point. It's
Right.
just a statistical thing that if you keep playing, you're gonna get one. Even the even the Washington Generals got the Globetrotters once, so you're gonna
And
get one.
Bell's 3-0 as well. They beat Bishop. Oh man, Bishop Lynch, MacArthur, and Sam Houston. So, and that's really all the news we have on Trinity. I know that all of our fans they wanna hear that stuff first because that's the most important. So, wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, you needed to get that information. Got and that's your Trinity report. Do, 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 do.
Oh, so you wait. You could do the themes.
Yes, that's not a theme. That's just a sound effect.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yours was a
just
theme.
because
That's
I took
different.
the time to write lyrics for mine doesn't mean yours is better.
Yeah, it is.
No, whatever.
No,
Just
I'm
just
not saying
go.
it was
Just
better. I'm saying because you took a time to write lyrics means yours was you were really trying to go in business for yourself. You're trying to.
I was trying to I was trying to ride for the podcast.
I know.
I wasn't saying listen to me. I was saying the show.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, get in the
yeah.
booth if you want. If you want to do it, get in the booth. Okay, get your the
What
recording
booth?
studio. Get you some bars. Drop some bars. Freestyle if you need to. Get.
Well, if I do, are you going to interrupt me 2 seconds in like you did just now?
No,
Because
if you go hit a professionally recorded
if that's the case,
intro.
okay. I was gonna say if that's the case, I'm not renting a studio just so you can interrupt me.
Wouldn't that be some shit? I got I got Timbaland to produce this intro for us, and then 2 seconds in, I'm interrupted.
Yeah,
I got
that's some
John
shit you
Legend to do
pull.
the lyrics.
Is he still doing stuff?
Yeah, he
Okay,
is.
good for him.
He's not. I think he dropped the album recently.
Did he? That
Yeah,
shows how much I
but
pay
now he's
attention.
more. They got him,
Oh, gotcha.
and by they I mean like mainstream.
Yeah.
Like too busy doing like hosting Grammys and doing commercials and all that
Plus,
shit.
plus they got him. I gotcha.
But not the day you would think.
Oh, they're involved somehow, some way,
Well, they got Hollywood, so
right? My God.
by extension they got him too. I mean, just real quick, and we go over it. You you seen the reviews on like these new shows that have come out, like the the Lord of the Rings thing that
Yeah,
was on Amazon?
yeah, they suck. Actually, no. House of the Dragons got, from what I've heard, is it's pretty decent. Certainly compared to I guess the last season of the the actual show, Game of Thrones.
Actually, House of the Dragon is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Uh, but yeah, the Lord of the Rings, from what I understand, they've reduced the actual lore that they base their shit on to Easter eggs. Um, I guess the main actress is a horrible actress. I saw clips and they were using phony Irish accents, and I knew that that wasn't going to be for me. That and the elves look like Vulcans.
I don't know what any of that means, but
Uh,
I
you
do
know,
know that the show.
Star Trek with Spock, the guy with the ears.
Yeah, I know what an elf is. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know what any of that means for the show.
Oh, okay.
But I do know that the show is getting killed. I
Yeah.
know that She-Hulk is getting killed.
Oh God, yeah.
I know
Well,
that,
another thing is they're attacking fans for
yeah,
not for their shitty product. Like there was a time where fans would backlash against something, and the creators would try to make something better or improve on what they're doing, or they would just scrap it and move on else. But nowadays, if you criticize something, you're just attacked. You're
yeah.
wrong
Now,
for not liking the piece of shit.
now
Like
this
people
one's
like,
already recorded though, so they can't like go back and change it.
what do you mean?
In this, the series already, like the season's already shot,
Oh well,
so
I mean they can just stop. I mean,
cancel it.
yeah, just give up because it's not going to get any better, especially with the people involved.
Well, it was so hyped. House
It
of
was,
Dragon. It's been pretty good. I've been watching it.
and House
So,
of Dragon was. I mean, it was kind of hyped, but like I think the Game of Thrones hype died after the main show died, so
well,
that
that's
didn't
where
get
they
as
brought it
much.
back. I mean,
Right,
if
and
you watch the
that didn't
last
get
season of Game of Thrones, though, there's they probably should have done away with that one.
right, and I think that's why everybody was not as excited or interested in this show. So when it turned out to be pretty decent, pleasantly surprised. And it sticks out because you got She-Hulk sitting in a fucking yoga position talking about how hard it is being a woman and controlling her rage, and she's sitting in front of a superhero that's go after him. He's been locked up, and like, wasn't he like in some weird prison? Like when they first like were looking for him or some shit. When the main movie started, I felt like he was
Uh,
locked up or something because he was so dangerous. But think about that. You got to be isolated and
yeah,
imprisoned.
I don't know if he was locked up
Okay.
when the movie. I don't know which one movie you're talking about, but I know he was at least he was isolated. Like he was just working a regular job, staying low key, not house out in the woods by himself. So he might as well have just been a prisoner.
So I mean that kind of shit. Like, come on. It's obvious like what you're doing. We all see it.
Yeah, and she's over here talking about I can control my rage because I do it infinitely better than you. I'm like, get out of here.
Right.
But that's our little Hollywood take. Let's get into some NFL news. That was just a side rant because we were talking about whatever we were talking about. So,
We're talking about shows.
yeah,
Um,
let's get into
how
our
the
show.
how the reviews are killing them.
That's not yet canceled. Our show.
Not yet. No.
So, have you seen? First of all, we got our NFL games starting tomorrow. We had our first game on Thursday. The full slate of NFL games starts tomorrow. We had the first game Thursday. Um, you had you picked right on that one. The Bills did it to the Rams. Rams didn't seem to show up.
And fun fact,
I
that's the
think,
first preseason game that Sean McVay has lost, or not preseason game, opening uh, season game.
yeah, and that's the first one the defending champs have lost in a while too.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Yeah.
why I picked them. It's like I was just statistics says that they were gonna win, but statistics didn't calculate that the Bills look like an unstoppable force that's gonna go undefeated. No, of course they're not, but they
Right.
looked
Well, you never know.
They look like they're firing on a different level than everybody else in the NFL.
You know, and I forgot that they signed Von Miller.
Yeah, he's there too. From the Rams.
Right. So that's kind of
So,
interesting. I guess the last time that they met, or the Bills won 35-32. So
against the Rams?
yeah. And what was the? I forget what was the score for this one.
Um, I don't have it in front of me. I think it was like 31-10 or something like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, I figured that the Rams lost some offensive pieces. That they lost some defensive, uh, like Von Miller, like some important people, not just good people.
Yeah. But the Bills were just firing on a different level. And
Yeah.
even in preseason, they've just been, I don't know, they've just been playing like they're playing a different game than everybody else.
Well, that's good, man, because I know that like they're predicting Josh Allen to be the MVP, and they're supposed to win the Super Bowl, like in just about any pick 'em that you see. So it's refreshing to see a team live up to the hype for once, as
Yeah,
opposed to you like the Eagles when they had all those people and then they sucked, or the Browns just like 3 years ago when they got Odell and Jarvis Landry, and they didn't do it.
they didn't. And the sad thing is, I've been singing Josh Allen's praise. Yeah, I want to pat myself on the back a little bit here.
You
Before
want
the
business
media
for yourself?
started, before the media started all this Josh Allen hype, I was on that Josh Allen train. I said, this is. I saw him play. I was like, this is the guy. You know, I mentioned I do the sports cards thing. I stocked up on the Josh Allen sports cards because I knew he was going to be something.
I'll be honest, I didn't really see.
Oh, I think we lost you here. But that's okay. I'll keep going. Or is it me?
Is it me?
There you go. You're back.
Okay. Uh, uh,
I was like, I don't know if it's me or like, how do I know if it's me?
the
Nope, we lost you again. Oh boy.
now.
There you go. You're back.
All right, my bad. Josh Allen having goddamn. Uh, First time I really saw him play was last year with the Kansas City game, the AFC Championship, when they did their back and forth. Um, yeah, you can tell he's special. He's
Yeah.
fun to watch too. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Favre.
You know, a little bit of Favre. You know, his coach said he's just as athletic as Lamar Jackson, which was a little bit of a reach,
Yeah.
obviously. But he's like he can. His coach was like he can throw on a level of Patrick Mahomes, and he can run on the level of Lamar Jackson.
Mm, I don't know,
It's like,
man.
well, isn't he just the greatest thing ever to touch the football?
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's. It's hard to pick a better runner. Maybe Cam Newton.
It
Not Cam Newton today, but Cam Newton in his prime.
prime Cam Newton. I mean,
Yeah, the
Michael
1 year
Vick,
he had.
prime Michael Vick.
See, I don't know if Michael Vick ever lived up. I mean, granted, his career kind of got cut in half, but um, I don't think he really lived up to the mobile quarterback hype that he had. I don't know if it I don't know if it translated to the NFL.
Are
He
you
had he had
are you
flashes.
kidding?
He had
He
flashes.
was like he was like splitting defenders. Back in like what was it, Madden '99? And then if
Yeah.
anybody picked, everybody was picking him because he had that 99 overall speed as a quarterback.
But he didn't no. I don't think he was as special as he was in college.
I don't know. He had the highlight reels,
He had
but
he had glimpses of greatness, but I mean, it wasn't sustainable, and he certainly didn't win.
well, he didn't have time.
He had time.
He 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 got into some trouble for some reason. I don't quite remember what that is. But anyway, we're gonna go back to Lamar Jackson. I did see that it's rumored. Now this is a rumor that so he's got his contract thing. They still haven't made a deal on that. They were supposed to make a deal by the start of the season, which is now, but they still haven't made a deal. Um, Crazy enough, he doesn't have his own. He doesn't have a lawyer doing this. He's doing it himself,
Oh,
negotiating his
so
contract.
he thinks he's Dante Culpepper.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the craziest part of, or so now the rumor is, and this is just a rumor, not confirmed. No one big is saying this or anything, so take it with a grain of salt. But Seattle's kind of looking at him to bring him into Seattle. But they have two starting quarterbacks, so it shouldn't be a problem for them. But they're also looking at Lamar Jackson if he doesn't get a deal done to bring him in by the trade deadline.
There's no way Lamar Jackson leaves Baltimore.
If they don't get a deal done, he might.
They suck his dick every time they mention him. They love him there. They'll figure it out.
Well, not to
Especially
be too big into like contract things, but I think the whole thing is he's wanting his money guaranteed, um and they're saying like, yeah, that's not a thing. Don't look at this Watson guy. Don't worry about that contract.
they'll figure it out though, because especially in that division where everybody else has a quarterback, the Ravens aren't going to go backwards. They'll do whatever they have to do to keep him.
Well, it is quite the standoff. He wants his money guaranteed. They don't want to guarantee him. It's almost gonna have to give.
Well,
Now, if
book
he
it.
goes out there and get hurt,
Yeah, which you probably will.
so he's playing, he's betting on himself. Usually they hold out when they do all that. He's still, as it stands, he's still gonna play and negotiate his contract. So he's like trusting that that's gonna all work out for him.
Well, didn't he hold out at a training camp? Or am I
Yeah,
mistaken? Okay.
or he
So he
showed
did it.
up late. He didn't
Okay.
like
Okay.
he ended up there, but he showed up late.
Gotcha. I mean, they'll figure it out. Think about it. Your competition is Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, and Mitchell Trubisky. Especially Mitchell Trubisky. You don't want to fucking give up Lamar Jackson.
Come on, casual. What are you talking about, Joe Burrow? Like that's not his competition.
You don't think
He's
Joe
so
Burrow is his competition?
no. Joe Burrow's in another stratosphere than him.
Than Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, he's like so
What?
much
No.
further.
What I'm saying
Joe
is
Burrow is like,
What I'm saying
oh,
is Lamar Jackson is they love Lamar Jackson. They view Lamar Jackson as their franchise quarterback. They view Lamar Jackson as their future. They view Lamar Jackson as the guy that will, you know, that they can win with. They're not going
which is
to.
wrong, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. He's not that great. He's fun to watch at times, and I wish he threw better. But his running is A plus when he can stay on the field and stay healthy. But my point is that they're not going to give up what they perceive to be, a franchise quarterback for a question mark when your competition has their franchise quarterbacks, especially when they're on the level of a Joe Burrow or a Deshaun Watson. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying that
Okay,
you're not going to go backwards when your competition is already locked and loaded.
gotcha. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, you know there is a quarterback. This story gets created out of nowhere, by the way,
Yeah.
and it's over in San Francisco.
Oh.
So we have stories that Trey Lance is unhappy that they didn't let go of Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, and there was a little bit of locker room division. Some saying, "Oh, it should be Garoppolo." Some saying, "Oh, it should be Trey Lance." And Trey Lance is like, "Why did they keep him?"
Well, and yeah,
Allegedly.
in Trey Lance's defense, though, if the reports are true, and like from what it to me from it sounds like is he was just a little like um, perplexed uh, because the 49ers throughout all throughout the summer have been saying that Trey Lance is their future. They're moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo. Blah 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 blah. Then like a week or two ago, John Lynch comes out and says, "Oh no, we love Jimmy Garoppolo. We're not doing anything with him." And then they restructure the deal. So now Trey Lance, he's thinking that it's his team, but then they're keeping on to the old guy. So the transition of power is not as peaceful as it should be.
Well, I mean, he is the guy.
But for how
Like,
long? Like
you don't want.
if he starts playing like shit, they're gonna go to Jimmy Garoppolo a lot sooner than they would if Trey Lance just had a normal. They've won with Jimmy Garoppolo,
Well,
and I think it's a smart thing to do. I would stick with Jimmy Garoppolo to begin with, but that's just me.
so I said
Um,
the guy wins games. Like,
yeah.
he might not be flashy, but he wins games.
Well, why are you gonna hit the reset button when you're like that's not your problem? Get a better, get a line that can keep him healthy and upright. If your quarterback's getting hurt, that means your offensive line sucks.
Well, that's got to be a part. Most of it. He's Glass Joe.
Well,
Ah, get that reference?
yeah, I do.
Like, he can't stay healthy for no amount of time.
But I can see where Trey Lance would be a little annoyed because now it's like, okay, so now I'm going to have to look over my shoulder because you can't help it.
Well, I mean, I think if you're San Francisco, traditionally you can't, like, once you make a move like that, you can't, like, waver. Because, they always say, like, you kill his confidence if you take him out and then try to put him back in. Like, you're just killing his confidence there.
Right, and it's
They
not
always say that, so.
in the situation. Jimmy Garoppolo was a winning starter. Like he wasn't just a like he's not Trent Dilfer. He he's a starter that was winning games for him.
Yeah.
So you replace Jimmy Garoppolo with or Trey Lance with Jimmy Garoppolo, then I think that's more meaningful than if you just Trey Lance isn't playing well, so you let the backup get some experience.
Well, they better hope they know what they're doing while they're out with his emotions. But
Yeah.
that is the story. He is annoyed that Jimmy Garoppolo is there. I guess this also crushes Seattle's hopes of getting Jimmy Garoppolo Cleveland's hopes of getting Jimmy Garoppolo while Deshaun Watson serves his suspension,
I don't
puts
think.
all
I
that
think
to rest.
Cleveland was already set with Jacoby Brissett, so they weren't. They entertained the idea, but they ultimately decided that 6 quarterbacks is enough.
Well, it is enough, but you still got to have the right one.
They do have the right one. They just need they just need him to serve out his suspension for forcing women to watch him jerk the gherkin allegedly.
Only allegedly. Can't stress alleged enough. So, as we're talking about, I guess we're going to keep talking about starters. Mitchell
Yeah,
Trubisky, officially named as starter for Steelers.
yeah.
Um,
They went with experience over you know, the dream or the feel good story. So they went the practical route.
yeah, now I was watching some of the experts on the matter, and they said exactly what I brought up. How short of a leash does Trubisky have? Like, because the what's his name? Ah,
Kenny
golly,
Pickett.
what's his name? Help me, help! Um, Pickett. He looks
Yeah.
good. He looked good in preseason, but and the fan base is behind him, all the stuff. So as soon as Trubisky starts struggling, the rumbling's gonna start, the chatter's gonna start, and they're gonna be like, okay, it's time to put him in. That's what the crowd's gonna say. Now, the Steelers, as an organization, are they gonna say the same thing? That's the question. Um, the bye, and then at that point, if they're like out, there is the good possibility that then they'll say, okay, now let's go to our future. Um, oh, speaking of which, I said the expert was talking about this. Um, Ben Roethlisberger has a new podcast, and he even said the same thing. So there, validation. Am I by myself again? I think so. But that's okay. I can keep going. I could do this all day. That's what they say.
Sorry, you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay. Ben Roethlisberger's podcast is brutal to listen to, and his
listen to it.
podcast, well, it's snippets from what I could listen
Yeah,
to.
it's definitely. He even says in the podcast, "Oh, we don't want any like editing or anything."
Well, his
Like
podcast got
that's
him in
good
trouble
to
with Antonio Brown.
already. He only did like 2 episodes.
Well, that's what got and he was bitching about how like Antonio Brown something something about his effort or whatever, alluding to the fact that it wasn't Ben Roethlisberger's fault, but Antonio Brown's fault that they lost the game. And then that's when he went crazy.
Wait, you're talking about his new podcast?
No, I'm talking about his. Well, I don't know if it's new or old or whatever. He had a podcast.
No, Roethlisberger has a podcast now.
Well, he had
Like
something
he just
where he
started. He
talked
just
about.
started.
He had something where he talked about the team and got him
Well,
in
I'm saying he
trouble.
just started a podcast like 2 weeks
Okay.
ago.
Well, okay.
Like
So he started.
retired Ben Roethlisberger.
He started a second podcast. Great.
Yeah, and his I think we're talking about two different moments in time here.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, on his new podcast, which is so you were, yeah, you weren't even talking about the one I was talking about. He did say that there's gonna be no editing on his podcast. It's just like a straight raw podcast. Um,
Does he
it's
sit in
him and
barber
some
chairs?
dude. I don't know.
Oh,
No, I think they're just regular chairs, but it's him and some dude, and they're like drinking beers, and they have like all they try all these different beers throughout the show,
that sounds really lame.
and yeah,
That's
and then they're just talking shop while they're drinking the beers.
yeah.
I mean, he really knows his beers though. I'll give him that. Like, oh, this is like a earthy taste, and oh, this one pairs good with this, and yeah,
See, I think
it's
people
like
just make
wow.
shit up when they talk about that.
When they try to be all professional about it.
Right.
I know he's talking about like um has a hint of pumpkin in a beer, and it's like there's no hint of. I'm gonna sound like an idiot here, but there's no hint of pumpkin. It just beer. It just tastes like beer. Like it doesn't taste like anything.
I don't know. I kind of believe it. They put weird shit in beer these days. Like I had a beer that they put like grapefruit or some shit in. It's
But you
weird.
don't taste it. It just tastes like beer.
No, it tastes like beer and grapefruit.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's another one. There was like a summer. It was a summer beer,
Yeah.
whatever that even means. And they're like, "Do you taste the freshness of summer?" Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a little entertaining. I watched it longer than I should have.
Well, if I were to guess, a summer beer would be lighter, and I would like a Guinness wouldn't be a summer beer. To me, a Guinness would be
Right.
like a winter beer.
Yeah, it's like a summer beer would be like a spritz type thing, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
Like it gives you more of a refreshing taste. So like almost like a seltzer ish type. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. What am I saying
I
right now?
don't know. I'd say
What am I trying to do right now?
like a summer shandy or maybe a Blue Moon. Although Blue Moon's a good anytime beer.
I've never had one. I've always wanted to try one,
Well, they're good.
especially when they show them with like the oranges in them.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta have it. It's not the same without an orange. You gotta get a draft with the orange. If anybody serves it to you without the orange, they don't know what they're doing with it. You should leave.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It just looks so good.
Yeah, it is. I
But
like it. But
but yeah, that's been Ben Roethlisberger's thing.
yeah.
Do we have any more before we dive into this AEW thing? Let's just take a look real quick here. If you're getting value so far, or if you're enjoying the chat, hit the like button,
Yeah.
hit that subscribe button. I can't see the chat today because of my circumstances of where I'm doing this podcast today. So if you're there, hi. Do you see anybody?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, like I said, I can't see anything today, so
At least nobody's
if you're there,
commented yet.
if you're there, hi. If not, whatever. Hi on the replay. Comment hashtag replay if you're here on the replay, by the way.
Well, according to the thing, we have one viewer. So.
And it ain't me,
Nope.
so there's that. So what's up, one viewer?
That might be
How
me.
how are you living? So let's get into some NFL, or I'm sorry,
Some wrestling.
some wrestling news.
Okay.
Not the big one yet. We'll
Did
go
you
over some.
just real quick? Did you happen to catch Raw on Monday?
I did.
Okay. So I found it funny that it still says it's PG, even though there's I thought they were going away with that, and they were making like a big deal about Seth Rollins saying bitch ass.
Yeah, it's still PG.
Okay.
They canceled it not being PG, or
Oh, okay.
I guess I don't know. The network
Hmm.
rejected it or something. I don't know. They changed
Gotcha.
their mind on it. We'll just say that.
They had a fucking CGI robot at like the very beginning. Like, I wish they would not do that ever again. Whoever thought of that just needs to be tied to a brick and thrown in the ocean.
Yeah, the robot thing. I never got the whole Monday Night Raw start now
Hmm.
is so different than what it used to be.
What do you mean?
Like back back in the Raw is War days, you came on Jim Ross. Welcome to
Oh my
Monday Night
by
Raw.
God! Yeah,
Yeah, and he's screaming, and then like the fireworks are going off.
yeah.
There was like so much excitement, and then now when they start the show, it's like, welcome everybody to Monday Night Raw.
Well, that's
Coming
because
up this week,
the commentary sucks.
yeah, Jimmy Smith. Get him out. Get him out.
I'll get them all out. Cody Rhodes, not Cody Rhodes. Corey Graves. Corey Graves is awful. I'm so glad that Pat McAfee is leaving. We'll get to that, but
Hold on, man. Don't be jumping stories.
I'm not jumping stories. I'm talking about
Shot your
this
wad
story.
all over the place, and we ain't even
There
there
ain't no
yet.
wad shooting.
It's out. You're taking
I'm
a
just
nap
glad.
now.
I'm just glad that
It's
they're
out.
losing one.
If this was Deshaun Watson's masseuse, you'd have a lot. Oh,
Yeah.
that's in poor taste.
I didn't care about the. I noticed that there's still a lot of talking. I wish there was more wrestling. I was kind of hoping that would be maybe it's gonna take time to change that, but god damn, there's a lot of talking.
Um, so yeah, I'd say it's been 50-50. As of like opening the show with wrestling versus talking. I think
Oh.
they did it more so this week because they were coming off the pay-per-view and
But
they had to do all the recap shit.
they opened with Edge calling out angry lesbian Dominic Mysterio. Like they couldn't even open with a compelling promo. Like I don't care about Dominic Mysterio or Rey Mysterio. Fuck them. Fuck the Mysterios. Fuck Edge too. If they have Dominic Mysterio got manhandled by Rhea Ripley on the pay-per-view. If Edge or Rey Mysterio have 1 ounce of trouble with Dominic, then they're fucking jokes too.
That's true. Like you don't think about that part when
No,
you're booking it.
that's what I'm saying. That's why when the second they did that, remember when Sable was with Mark Merrill, and Mark Merrill was like
Yeah.
he was doing the wild thing, and they were kind of pushing him a little bit. Well, then Sable powerbombed his ass.
What? No, I
Yeah,
don't remember that.
you don't remember
Sable powerbomb Mark Marrow.
Yes,
Sable?
yes,
No, there's no way.
yes. I will.
There's no way.
She
No way.
powerbombed him or body slammed him or something. It just fucking killed him.
I don't even think that. Sable was
I
like
promise
little
you. I promise
dainty.
you, because I remember it was the worst fucking powerbomb I've ever seen in my life.
You're gonna have to send me that.
I'll look
Uh,
for it. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I remember about Sable was wardrobe malfunctions. and I
Well,
loved him.
the only thing I remember about Sable is her magazine appearances.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too. Many a
Oh
many
yeah,
a night spent with that. I remember. Yeah, can you imagine? Oh,
just sent it to you.
can you imagine like? Oh, this show's gonna take a turn weird. No, we're gonna do this
Oh,
another day.
we've had technical issues. I didn't start our back game until like way later. There's been pauses, so I mean, if there's any show that's gonna be weird and off the rails, let's just make it this one.
It's okay. You won't hear all this in the clips. So, um, I was just gonna say, this is gonna happen another week, but we're gonna have to rank like wrestlers today if we had a list of who would do a shoot these nowadays, who want it to be
What do you
rank
mean a
like
shoot?
top 10, like
Like
a
a like a magazine shoot?
yeah.
Oh,
I guess it
okay.
would just be a OnlyFans now, but
Yeah.
like because people don't really do Playboy anymore. Is it even still around?
Playboy? Yeah, it's just not. They got to it.
Well, I know.
The same people that got to Legend got to Playboy.
I know it didn't go well for Hugh Hefner.
Well, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, I mean, there's just there was some shit said about him.
But yeah, I thought if you're gonna open up with talking, can you open up with something more than with Edge fucking calling out little Dominic Mysterio, and he looks like a goth lesbian now as opposed to just an angry lesbian. So just I don't know. I wasn't there for it. I fast forwarded it through all that. I think I don't understand why Bobby Lashley isn't in the main event picture more. That dude looks like a fucking beast.
He does, and his presentation, like with his his entrance, and he does like the don
Yeah,
don don.
his entrance, the way he carries himself, like I don't know if you saw him in Impact after his WWE run, but he looked goofy as fuck. Like he had a fucking LeBron headband on, and he had his wife with him. He was he was just as annoying as King Booker, but I don't know, with not as much personality. But now he's just I don't know. He looks like a fucking $1 million, and he should be he he makes the U.S. Championship, which by the way, the U.S. Championship belt looks like a fucking Da Vinci painting compared to the IC belt. I just want to say that. Um, he makes the U.S. belt look important. Like if anybody else was holding that belt, it wouldn't look like shit.
Hmm. Yeah. Ironically, that was a when they introduced that belt, it was a custom belt for him.
Oh, okay,
So, and then other people won it, and they'd never changed it.
gotcha. But yeah,
So,
he looks like $1 million. He looks. Speaking of $1 million, Braun Strowman looks really fucking good too. My God, he looks like.
yeah, people are upset that he's back, but he's
Why?
back. He looks good.
Why are they upset?
Well, the whole indie wrestling thing.
Oh, okay.
Also, um, he's kind of like his act has kind of run its course, so they don't really know like what he is coming back to do. Um,
Dude, if he just comes
so
out
that
and just beats the shit out of people, that's all like. Um, I almost fast forwarded through the that 8-man tag match
mhm.
until I saw his Titantron come on. I was there for it, man.
Oh,
I wanted to see him just choke slam and power bomb and just beat the shit out of everybody. And I just want to see him Like if he and Roman have like a match, especially like because he doesn't look as dumpy as he did. He doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't look like a character now. He looks like a fucking gladiator.
Killer.
Yeah. I mean, I could do
Yeah, he's
without that.
definitely in great shape.
I could do without that fucking Strowman Express shit that he did. What the
Oh,
fuck was that?
oh, you missed it. So during the pandemic,
Yeah.
he used to do that,
Ugh.
and they would play. No, no, it gets worse. They would play the sound effects of a choo-choo train as he would run around the ring doing
Okay.
it. So you'd have chicka chicka chicka, woo woo, and then he started running around.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see why people were like, "Why is this guy back?"
Well, I mean, I loved every second of his. Well, there's two things. I didn't like the that fucking Strowman Express shit. I also didn't like they did like a little backstage promo with him where he's like, "I'm back," and blah 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 blah. I just wish he didn't say anything. I just wish he'd come back and just beat the fuck out of people.
Yeah. Now, what I would like to see from him is come back, beat the shit out of people, maybe even have matches, beat the shit out of people. But you come back, ultimately, you're coming back to lose, and the person you're coming back to lose to is
Baron
Gunta.
Corbin. Oh,
No, Gunta. Put
Gunther.
him in against, yeah, at WrestleMania for the IC title. You have this monster Strowman, and then he comes back just to get. Do you imagine what that would do for Gunta?
Well, Gunther is already a monster.
I know, but that would just put him in another stratosphere. Like that's main event level.
Yeah.
He comes back and is like kills Braun Strowman.
I don't even think they need a belt for that. Just have a match.
Well, I don't. The only reason I say for the IT title because I don't think he's gonna lose it anytime soon. So,
Yeah.
like, the only person that should beat him for the title is Sheamus, but
I guess
they
if we're
can't do
going
that
with
because they
right
just
now,
did the
yeah.
match.
Yeah.
Um, by the way, Melty Boy gave them 5 stars, so you know,
So we have good taste.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a great match.
So
Everything about that.
everybody's rejoicing that. Oh, Melty gave him 5 stars.
Um, I'm I was kind of disappointed that they didn't turn um, Owens into the NXT monster that he was. He just had a match with Theory. And
Yeah, that's he's slowly going back to the prize fighter.
I like, yeah, I want him to go back to how he was in NXT, where he, I don't know. I'm weird. I like my badasses to be badasses. I don't want them to fucking do goofy shit. Although that spot they had where the Theory slammed Owens' head into the steel steps, I like that. That was pretty gruesome. I don't know if he really hit the back of his head or not,
Yeah,
but it looked really
that was
good.
a that was a high impact spot when he did that. I was like, golly.
Yeah, and then he immediately went after the head. And Theory was selling his jaw still from when Tyson Fury knocked him out. So that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Riddle sucks in every single way.
So his painted nails
It still had his pains
didn't.
nails. Like I don't understand. He sounds like a slow Steve-O from Jackass. Believe it or not,
He kind of looks like him too,
he does.
if you really look at him.
Like think about Steve-O. Think about how slow Steve-O is. Now think about Steve-O having a mentally challenged cousin. That's Matt Riddle. His promos suck. His matches suck. Everything about him sucks. Put some clothes on. Get a haircut.
Well,
I don't know.
I like that he challenged Seth Rollins again, and then Seth Rollins was like, "What? I beat you clean." No,
Yeah. I stomped your head
like,
twice.
yeah, I stomped you twice. Like I have nothing else for you.
Yeah, I don't know. Riddle can go away forever.
Now the problem with WWE is they have their pay-per-views are so close together.
Yeah.
So they have another pay-per-view in like 5 weeks. So you're gonna have to do a lot of rematches because you don't have time to
Yeah.
really build a new feud.
Man, why don't they just get rid of pay-per-views? I'd much rather have it go back to like when there's like 6 pay-per-views a year.
Yeah, those the gimmick pay-per-views they need to go away. They just need to do like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series. Um,
King of the Ring.
I would like King of the Ring back as a staple pay-per-view.
Yep.
Um,
I'd like them to bring back the In Your House pay-per-views.
well, those are the gimmick ones now, pretty much.
Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah.
Um, yeah, you don't need Hell in a Cell. You don't need.
No.
I would say I
You
would
know
even get
what?
away give away Money in the Bank and just put it as a WrestleMania match, one match at WrestleMania. You
Which
don't need a
is
whole
what
pay
they
per
used
view
to do.
for it. Yeah.
I don't mind a Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. I just don't want every single match on the pay-per-view to be a Hell in the Cell.
Well,
Like I want,
that's the problem I had with it.
yeah,
Number one, yeah, um every match is a Hell in a Cell, and if it's not every match, then it's like your a couple of your big matches are Hell in a Cell, but the feuds don't warrant it needing to be in a Hell in a Cell.
yeah, that's
Like,
true. Like
like that's my
Santino
problem
and
with it.
any feud he's ever been in.
Yeah, like just because it's for the title doesn't mean it needs to be in Hell in a Cell.
Right.
Like Hell in a Cell is supposed to be like, I hate you.
It's supposed to be
We've been
Hell in a Cell.
battling. Yeah, we've been battling. I want to take you to hell. As they say.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I feel like they waste the big stuff. They go to that too early instead of building up to it. Like it's like the first match will be a disqualification, and they'll escalate it to a ladder match instead of like building up to that. And then from the ladder match, they'll go to a cage match, and then from the cage match, there will be an Inferno match. And by like the third match they've ever had with each other, they got machine guns.
Yeah, and that's another thing. The Hell in a Cell is supposed to be a blow off of the feud. Like once you go through the Hell in a Cell, I don't want to see a regular match after that between the two of you.
Right.
Now, these are all things for um, should be mentioned. These are all things that happened under Vince McMahon. So, since we are now under Triple H, things can change.
Well, you say that, but right off the bat, Miz and Lashley had a cage match for the U.S. title. Why? Because Miz asked for it. Well,
Well,
Miz
they
was
put
running away from Dexter Loomis,
yeah, there was a little
I guess.
logic they put behind it.
There wasn't
If
much
you
logic
if you bought it
if
or not, that's another thing. But
if you're
it
the
was there.
Miz and you want to be locked up in a confined space with Bobby Lashley, then yeah, I'm not buying that. But I did like how he started the match where he took Lashley's own belt and hit it with him during the intro. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
I think Tommaso Ciampa is a great wingman. Like he was trying to pull the Miz out of the cage when he was crawling out, and he was hitting Lashley with the chair through the cage while he was trying to climb out. Just little shit like that. It was great. And then they ruined it all with with Dexter Loomis. Like Miz is climbing out of the cage, and he's just about to get down, and he looks down, and Dexter Loomis' head is poking out of the apron.
Yeah.
And the
And his only
commentator,
idea is to climb back in the
yeah,
ring.
and the commentator's like, "Where did he come from? I didn't see that." Like, motherfucker, he's right in front of you. You did not see Kaiser Wilhelm just pop out. Come on. I'm not
Yeah, and then
impressed
at
with this
the end,
guy.
he's like, "You don't like Dexter Loomis?"
I'm not. I don't. I see. I see a 1980s serial killer, but I guess obviously that's what they're gonna go for. But eh.
That's what I like about his gimmick. So his gimmick overall is he doesn't talk. Um, he draws pictures, and then I mean, later when they turned him face, he was drawing pictures. Still not talking, but he would draw pictures. He's actually a pretty good caricature artist in real life,
Mm,
so it works out for him. But
of course it does.
but yeah, in NXT, his character was pretty much stalking people and kidnapping them, and he'd do his silencer sleeper hold finisher like he
Yeah.
did to the Miz. I don't know if you caught it, but um, one thing he did, and I'm glad they brought it back, was he choked the Miz out and then he started petting him,
Stroking
and
his
that's what
hair.
he used to. Yeah,
Yeah.
he used to do that in NXT. I
Okay.
I like that touch because it's
Okay.
just like,
It's
what the
creepy as
hell?
shit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just know that he's forever killed for me because the first impression I got from him, I busted out laughing because that was the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life. I put that right up there with like exploding TVs.
Well, what
But
was
you're
the
right.
first
The
impression you had?
he fucking his head's sticking out of the apron with his little rape face
Okay,
on,
this
and
one.
yeah,
Okay,
and Miz is
just
just
making sure.
Miz, instead of laughing along with everybody, he's pretending to be scared, and the commentator's like, where did he come from? Like, motherfucker, you know you saw him just poke his head out. He's 2 feet away from you. Stop it.
It does pose the question: was he sitting there all night, or did they just bring him out before that match?
I don't know. That is a good question. Either way, though, it's just yeah. I laughed for a good 5 minutes. Like I had to rewind. I had to rewind the stuff that he did because I was laughing so hard.
Well, that's Dexter Loomis for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's overall. Um, that was your Monday Night Raw impromptu review.
Impromptu, yeah.
Just a couple
Well, it's a good thing
more
we both
little.
saw it then, huh?
Yeah. So what? Now that Braun Strowman's back, what the hell's gonna happen to control your narrative? Like, they're pretty much that promotion's done, huh?
Have you seen Control Your Narrative?
How about no? I haven't really watched
My
it.
God, did you ever watch Lucha Underground?
No.
Okay, well, Lucha Underground, it was really good, but it was more like a movie than like wrestling, if that makes sense. Like, think about a really, really good like,
Cinematic.
yeah, think about a really good movie that was just wrestling based,
Hmm.
and like the characters were good. Like Matanza was fucking awesome, and they had Pentagon. I think it was Pentagon. Uh, Phoenix was there
They're an
too.
AEW.
Rey Mysterio was there for a little bit, but so yeah, it was like a movie, and it was just really, but it was overproduced, and you can tell it was just really phony, but it was really good. Well, control your narrative is like that too, but without any of the magic or entertainment or anything. Like first of all, and keep in mind this is I watched maybe bits and pieces of a EC3 Zack Ryder match, but it's black and white. All the other wrestlers are just around the ring cheering on. They're the fans. That's the only. so 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 it's like two dudes in a garage just beating the shit out of each other while their buddies are watching. And then like somewhere in the middle of the match, like it goes into this fucking narration and slow motion shit. And it's just very cinematic and just no, it was awful. But I suspect if EC3 doesn't get another partner or something, then yeah, they're probably done. Maybe that's why the big guy wants to jump over there, so he can ruin another career.
Oh, I saw a graphic. I don't know if it was just a one-off, but he was definitely there.
I didn't see. Is that I looked? I looked for more information on that. I couldn't find anything. It is control your
Oh.
narrative though, so that's not surprising.
It's not like they have state-of-the-art information available.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not looking up WWE stuff.
like who is their champion right now? Aside
Yeah,
from
I don't even know if
aside
they
from
have a.
EC3 and Braun Strowman, can you name another wrestler there? Zack Ryder. Exactly.
And he wasn't even. I don't know if that's his full-time thing because he's TNA
Yeah.
and NWA.
So I don't think. Yeah. I don't think that was ever something that was ever going to take off.
Yeah, just a quick search here. He was there a month ago, and it. Well,
The,
no, that was the video on it.
are we talking about Ryback?
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, I
he's
believe you.
probably
I couldn't find out more because I was curious because I like to watch that guy just fail.
he's probably eating his mukbang
His
in this
McDonald's.
parking lot. Yeah.
Try the new Arby's. Feed me more. I'm a good wrestler.
Hmm. Actually, not wrestling, not wrestling, but like as a human being, he is kind of funny.
Oh, I think
I
he's
don't know if he takes himself serious or not, but if he takes himself serious, it's sad. But if he doesn't, then he's funny.
by all accounts, it looks like he takes himself extremely seriously,
Oh,
which
well
is
then
why
that's sad.
he quit the WWE and he wished them the best in their future endeavors and he posted pictures of himself next to slot machines during All Out and never appeared on it. And he uh, and, tried to launch a fucking nutrition company, and he does have a supplements that he sells. But keep in mind, he's also eating fucking fast food in the parking lot like a fucking schoolgirl, reviewing their latest cheese fries. So things cannot all be well in the land of Ryback. And for him to,
Well, now by his own admission, he says he doesn't eat like that all the time. He just does it for the
they all say
videos, for the
that.
views.
They all say that.
Well, I mean, he's still in good shape. I don't know how you eat like that and still keep a good shape, unless you're doing, extracurricular stuff.
He might be. He might like them bathhouses.
Yeah. Or he's like roided out of his mind.
That too. Well, I mean, you can. if you work out, you can eat pretty much whatever you want, can't you?
I mean, how hard you got to work out? I like to be on that regimen.
Well, I mean, he is a big dude.
Like, where do I sign up to eat wherever I want and just have to work out and it'll work out?
Well, I think you'd have to work out twice as hard as the amount you eat. I base that on absolutely no scientific fact.
I mean, it sounds right.
But bodybuilders they eat a ton and they work out. It helps their muscles.
So, there's also a lot of supplements too that they take.
Yeah, sometimes.
Like, there's there is one that's like it says you can like um I don't know, you take it before you eat a meal, and you can eat whatever you want and it'll like help.
Does it make you shit or throw up?
Neither, it just blocks the fat or whatever.
Oh, so it makes you shit.
I don't know.
The
It's
fat the
probably
fat
not the
goes
best.
somewhere.
Yeah, it goes out somehow,
Yeah,
but
I guarantee it's shit. You're on greasy shits. I mean, that mud butt is a small price to pay for a slim waist, though.
I mean that's a form of bulimia if you think about it.
Oh, it is.
Like, oh, I'm gonna eat like a fucking hog, and then I'm gonna just take this.
Yes, I would like to
but,
add the bacon.
but it's okay because I'm just gonna take this
Shit
here
it
pill,
out.
and it's gonna make everything. It's gonna make it all okay. I feel like I never even had anything.
Mm. But yeah, I don't think. I think if control your narrative is reaching out to Ryback, then it's not good. It's not good stuff for
They're
anybody.
scraping the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, name another wrestler that lost their job and is doing fast food reviews.
Uh,
The only wrestler that he beat out was Sonny. Maybe China.
yeah, I mean, there's not really any that do that, but I don't know. Maybe he likes
No, he
eating
doesn't.
fast food
You can
in
tell
his
he's
car.
dead inside. Every
Like
time
it's
he stuffs those French fries into his face, you can just see him just look off to the side with no soul.
it's not a bad gig if you think about it. You know, Wingstop, they just released. I mean, they're sold out right now, so it's here nor there. But they released a chicken sandwich, and I was like, oh, maybe I should get that and review it on the channel and do like a thing, a mukbang, like Ryback, and I eat it in the car. So it's not a bad gig. I know you're not gonna comment on that,
I'm just letting it go.
but I'm just saying it's not a bad gig.
It's okay. Is it a gig? You're stuffing your face.
If you want to, some people like to eat. Like, no, I'm saying like to eat. Like, it get probably they have a little, a little hard on while they're eating.
Well,
Like, have you ever seen, like the 600 pound life or something like that? I'm 600 pounds.
no.
There's like a show on A&E, or I think it's A&E. But anyway, it's like my 600-pound life or something. Those people like to eat. Like that's what gets them going.
Yeah, but I imagine those people just don't sit out in public eating like that, though.
Well, they do a show
Usually,
for it.
usually people like that they go behind closed doors and eat like it's a sin.
Not when you get that high.
They like candles. Put on some Barry Manilow. Lock all the doors. Close the drapes. I don't know.
And then they're like, yeah, just weird.
I think the only thing I've seen is hoarders for A&E programming. Oh no, they had extreme cheapskates, which that was fun shit.
Yeah, there's that too.
Oh, my favorite guy was the guy that went and got ice cream samples. He's like, "Oh, can I try this one? And can I try this one?" And the
I
guy's
mean,
like,
that's
"Okay,
just
so which one are you gonna buy?" "Oh, I already tried them."
that's just logical right there.
Yeah.
my um my favorite thing is like I don't like going to the store, but I do like going to the store on like the days that they got all the samples, and I'll
Yeah.
circle around as many times as I can, and I'll leave full. It's like, oh, I need a nap from all them samples. Like you gotta go in there with like a hat. So you make your first round without the hat, and then you go back through with the hat, and you just hope they weren't paying close enough attention. Yeah, you got to keep your little head down. You change your accent a little bit so they don't recognize you. Yes, all this for a free sample.
Well, of course.
And then they ask, "Have you had a sample before?" No, no, no. What are you talking about? I know what we're doing here. You only take one sample per customer. Come on, I'm not a monster.
Are you denying me my constitutional right to a free sample?
Yeah. Like what do you think I am? Why would I take advantage of the free
Sample system.
sample thing? Yeah. And then I'd ruin it for everybody?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's bad.
No, I'm not double dipping. But then in reality you really are.
Of course.
And then you try to push your luck and go back a third time. Like, oh man, you think after she called you out on the second one, you think that would be it. But no, you push your luck and try to do it again.
Well, if you were smart, you would position your second attempt in conjunction with a shift change. So like right after your second sample, the sample lady switches out for the other one to take a break.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You gotta wait for the wait for the shift change on the third
Yeah.
one, and then you gotta like pretend each time. Oh, what do you got today? Oh, it's this. You want to try it? As a matter of fact, I would.
Wow, that sounds interesting. Hot dog wrapped in bacon? What?
You want to try it? Uh, yeah, yeah, I guess I'll try it. Knowing damn well you've been there so many more times. And then they gotta put
Actually,
your picture out
remember
on the
when we
stand. No more samples for this person.
remember when we survived off those Sprite remix samples?
Oh yeah, at the fair
Yeah.
we kept circling back. I mean, they were cool. They kept giving us some,
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't even try to stop us.
but we were stupid enough to go to a fair with no drinks.
Well, they should have. They should have had something, and they did.
I know, but I'm saying you go out now, you carry like a water bottle wherever you go.
Right.
If but we were stupid enough to just show up with no drinks or anything. So we find the this remixes stand and we just keep hitting it up.
Yeah, I think didn't we find one that served bread too? We had a feast.
I remember the I don't remember the bread. I remember the remixes.
I remember just like
Um,
white
there was
bread.
like a candy station or something,
Okay.
and we kept hitting that up too.
I remember
We
white bread
there
and
was like
little
a
shot
rotation
glasses.
we did. It's like, up, time to go get it. Let's go get some more.
Well, the other ones like they eventually cut us off, but the Sprite remix one that was just ever flowing. Ironically, I've never been able to drink a Sprite remix since.
I never even tried. Like, never even seeked it out to drink it again.
Right.
I think it had a hint of coconut in it that I wasn't too enthusiastic about.
Right. It was yeah. It had a funky taste.
Yeah. Turns out I didn't like it at all, but it was free, so
But it was free.
it it tasted just good enough to want it for free.
Of course. Was a
But
hot
yeah,
Texas summer and you don't have any water with you, you'll drink that Sprite remix.
yeah. Turns out if it's between that and dying of dehydration, it's just good enough.
That's a good endorsement. Sprite remix, better than dying.
Of dehydration. And you don't even got to pay us for that Sprite. By the way, not sponsored.
No,
Well, as we get, I don't know what, I've lost track of time. But as we get on out of here,
as we get
we
on
should talk about
that.
what has happened in AEW.
We've been
Because,
going for
boy,
about
a
an
lot
hour
has
and a half.
happened. Have we?
Yeah, we're at an hour and 22.
Okay. Yeah, so that's perfect. We usually go about 2 hours,
Yeah,
so
and this way, if we go a little
we
bit
have.
longer, then we don't have to feel pressured because this, like I said, the game started a little later. So, so something happened with AEW. What? I didn't hear.
We have quite the story from AEW. Oh, where do we begin?
Was
I
it
guess let's
was it
start from the top.
MJF's
So,
return?
no,
Oh.
that did happen, though. And you you would think that's the big news, but that actually got overturned.
Oh.
Um, something
Was it the
bigger
Young Bucks
happened.
winning the trios title?
That did happen as well.
Oh. So was that?
We'll just say yes,
Only
because
has
it all
one.
ties into, huh?
Did Tony get a fucking haircut?
Uh, uh, I don't know.
Okay. So
I'm
what's the
sure he
big
did.
news? I'm all excited now.
So, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know CM Punk kind of went nuclear. He buried the AEW roster. He buried the Elite. He buried Colt Cabana again. Um,
Hangman Page. I think even a
Hangman
little
Page.
Kingston, Eddie Kingston barb was thrown in there, or rehashed or something.
Well, he kind of buried Eddie Kingston in the ring. This one was more targeted at the Elite.
Well, there was
Um,
there was a line where Kingston was the second best Kingston. He said he laughed at how great of a line that was. It wasn't big or anything or nearly as scathing as the other guys, but it was enough to set Eddie off. I didn't know that.
well, yeah, that happened in the ring. That happened when he was building towards his um, Moxley match. Um, But let's fill you in here.
Yep.
So CM Punk, he had his match at All Out,
Yeah.
the AEW pay-per-view, and he beat John Moxley for the AEW title, undisputed, the reigning and defending undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Which, by the way,
Un
can you explain to me why he lost to Moxley to begin with? If he's just gonna get it back like few days later.
well, there's a lot of reasons he lost. Number
Okay.
one, it turns what it's seeming, and it turns like it's more and more to be true. They did that match on free TV to boost the rating
That's it.
because AEW has been kind of struggling to get to over a million rating and
So what in the
contract
match?
negotiation.
Wouldn't the match be the rating? What do you need to have the title change, especially if you're going to change the title back?
Well, I'm just saying they did that for they did the match itself for the rating.
Okay.
Um, AEW has a contract negotiation for their TV deal coming back up, so they want to put their best foot forward. Hey, look, we're getting over a million rating, yada yada yada. Um, I suspect that's why they did the match. That's not been confirmed anywhere. That's just me observing, just being a mark apparently. Next thing, um, so the reason you do, I don't know why it makes sense if you're gonna do the rematch. You do the little 3 minute match on TV
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to do like a 30-minute match, have Punk lose, and then
Punk just
you
didn't
know.
just get. He didn't lose though. It wasn't a competitive match. Like Moxley didn't have any trouble beating him. So then to go and have it would have been one thing if I don't know if Moxley inadvertently hit him with a chair or something or some like a fuck finish happened. Like to me that would make more sense. But a clean finish only to have like the guy that just had no problems beating him like within 3 minutes, not a few days prior, just loses. I don't know. This just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't
Well, a
mind.
lot of people are.
I don't mind the match. I don't mind the fact that they had the match twice. That's fine. It's just the title change.
A lot of people did question that whole thing, but I'm gonna say that's what it was for. It was for the
Okay,
rating.
fair enough.
They wanted to boost the rating. They did it. Um, and then the match itself was like a shock factor, and they did it. So,
But it wasn't
so
that shocking. It wasn't that great of a match.
well, it was shocking. No one expected it to be a 3 minute squash match for John Moxley.
Okay.
So we get to the pay-per-view. Punk wins, and um, again, he's now your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion
Mm-hmm.
for AEW.
Yeah, he beat. Yeah.
um, After they have a post show media scrum,
Yeah. Do they do that
and
often? Is that like a AEW thing?
yeah, they do it for all pay-per-views.
Oh, that's really stupid.
Um, I don't think they'll. It seems like that's probably going to come to an end soon,
It seems
based off
like
of what happened.
to me it just seems like a way for Tony Khan to just sit with the wrestlers and be one of them. Like why else? Because I mean, let's put this in perspective. It's a fake, it's a fake sport. So to have like a press conference after a fake sporting event, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I'm okay with that part.
Yeah.
Like even WWE, they just did one for Clash at the Castle. Difference is, well, there's obviously big difference,
Sure.
but a small difference is all the wrestlers they stayed in character when they were being interviewed. So everything they said was like in
Yeah,
character.
yeah, that's another
Um,
thing because Punk basically said that like he did the job, quote unquote, for Moxley. You should appreciate the same thing, or it's like you just fucking admitted that this is fake.
um, but yeah, so the medium scrum thing, it's there, but I kind of like it because it gives you like insight. Not necessarily to the wrestlers. They're there, so that's good. But I like it more so like, what was your thought process behind making this decision, or is this person coming back, or is this person going to be out for weeks, or you get that kind of information immediately following the show.
But it's also wrestling, so it all could be bullshit.
It could be.
So I mean, it's just I don't know. This is weird to me. And when WWE did it, at least from the times that I've seen it, it's always like the main event guys. It's not every motherfucker that just gets to sit and tell their tale.
Well, AW usually does only they'll do the champions,
Okay.
so at least there's that. So they did the champions, which brought CM Punk, and he
Mm.
started out the scrum,
He did.
and by God he goes nuclear.
He
By
did.
God he goes nuclear. Hold on, let me get it for the clip.
Okay.
By God, CM Punk went nuclear on those cats. Huh?
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, it was out of nowhere. He just sat and like asked a confrontational lead up question to the reporter, and then yeah, shat on Colt Cabana, who I guess was his friend. He right after he walked out of WWE, he appeared on his Art of Wrestling podcast. Uh, Talked about his experience, uh, his being Punk's experience uh, at WWE. Talked about the Summer of Punk and all the events that led up to his walking out. Well, Punk said some shit he probably shouldn't have said publicly on a podcast. WWE took him to court. Um, then that morphed into Colt Cabana and Punk suing each other because I guess the implication was that Punk was going to pay for Colt Cabana's legal fees, but that didn't happen, and they had a dispute. And um, last thing I heard is they settled out. That's the last thing you hear about that. And then
Hmm.
I guess reports surfaced that some believe that Punk was the responsible for Colt Cabana, who was with AEW at the time, going to ROH. Do I have that right
Right.
so far?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Did I leave anything out?
No, that's the story so far.
Okay. So
Um, I guess the only other thing was, um, and we already talked about it, the Hangman page
yeah.
saying it or kind of mentioning it during the promo and Punk getting
Right.
pissed off at that.
Well, I
This
guess
is
I
all
guess
leads to a.
Hangman
Mhm.
Page is really close with the Young Bucks. This is all fucking stupid. Hangman Page is really close with the Young Bucks, who are in turn really close with Colt Cabana still. So while CM Punk is no longer friends with Colt Cabana is still friends with the Young Bucks, and I guess they may or may not have been suggesting that Punk is the reason why Colt Cabana is in ROH now. And
Right.
Hangman allegedly went into business for himself with. I listened to the promo, and I guess if you were grasping at straws, it was a personal attack, but to me it just sounded like a generic promo.
Um. So people were what most would say is it's because Hangman didn't like deliver it well enough
Yeah,
for
it
it
was. It
to
was a little
come off
awkward.
how it was supposed to.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Um,
He's not the best talker.
yeah. So
But I mean, it wasn't
that's
like I don't know. He didn't. He didn't. Motherfuck his mom or like he didn't say anything scathing. He didn't call him a dumb, empty-headed fuck. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or he didn't
So
call him a coward or challenge his character to a fight when he knew he wasn't in the back. Punk did that.
yeah. So we get to his all out scrum. Punk sits down. He immediately points out like one of the journalists,
Yeah.
Nick. I forgot his name. Nick something. Doesn't
Hauserman.
matter. Yeah, and he looks at him and he says like, do you fancy yourself a journalist? And he's like, yeah, and he's like, do you do stand up comedy anymore? And Nick says he did, or no, he doesn't do it anymore, but he used to. And he was like, well, when you did it, who'd you used to do stand up with? And he was like, Scott Colton, who's Colt Cabana.
Right.
And he said, would you consider yourself a friend of Colt Cabana, of Scott Colton? Um, and then this just starts. This is
Yeah.
this so that's the start of the rant, right?
Right. It
So
was a great
never was
rant.
he
That was
asked a
a
question.
classic, just chef's kiss of a CM Punk rant.
Yeah, so never was he asked a question. He
No.
immediately points the guy out, and he's like, "Aren't you friends with him?" And the guy was like, "Well, I mean, we haven't really talked."
Right.
And
Well, he even says like
he's
you blew up my spot.
yeah. So this sends Punk off, and um, I'm gonna paraphrase it here because I don't have the exact quotes, but he's like, "It's 2022, and I have to sit up here and talk about
I
this."
have the quote. Do you want me to read it?
Um, you have the exact
Yeah, yeah.
2 minute rant.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it'll be 2 minutes when I read it, but I got some quotes. Now it's 2022. I haven't been friends with him since at least 2014, late 2013. And the fact that I have to sit up here because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't fucking manage a target, and they spread lies and bullshit and put into a media that I got or somebody fired, that I have fuck all to do with him. Want nothing to do with him. Do not care where he works, where he doesn't work, where he eats, where he sleeps. And the fact that I have to get up here and do this in 2022 is fucking embarrassing. And if y'all are at fault, fuck you. And if you're not, I apologize. And then he turned his attention to Adam Page, who he called an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck who went out on national television to fucking go into business for himself, referring to the promo. And yeah,
Yeah, so that part he
yeah.
was like, that
But
part
that
kind of bled into it.
right,
He's like, who, what did I ever do to have some
some empty-headed
empty-headed
fuck. Yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah,
dumb fuck go out and go into business for himself? I was just talking about Adam Hangman Page. And he's like, what did I do? And he's talking to Dave. So,
Meltzer.
yeah, Dave Meltzer. I almost missed that part. That's pretty important. He's talking to Dave Meltzer. So, number one, we're talking about a media scrum, and
Yeah,
these are just all like, so it's a media scrum. They're supposed to be professionals here, and they're really just like content creators that are here.
yeah.
Like,
It's kind of funny. It's
yeah,
that's why it's so funny to have a fucking media because it's all phony. Like everybody's just reporting on phony shit that just didn't happen. It's just weird.
Yeah, now to their defense, um, it is AEW. It's not like WWE, so
Yeah.
you're not going to be like getting Sports Illustrated there for your media scrum. So you got to take what you get if you're going to do it.
Well,
So, um, that they can't really help that part. That's number one. So
mhm.
number two, and this was all like a shoot. This was not
Oh
planned.
yeah, yeah. Well, no, no,
Um,
no. Dave Meltzer actually reported that Punk had likely been planning that for quite a while. Like he said, a source of his said that when Punk returned from his foot injury a couple weeks ago, that he told him that the press conference after all that was going to be interesting. So
well, yeah, they said that Punk planned this,
yeah.
but it wasn't like. Let me rephrase it. It's not storyline, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you would think that's what it is. It's like
Well, I mean,
leading to some big story,
there's
which
still
it could
like
still.
yeah, there's still rumblings of that, but by all accounts, that I mean, even Dave Meltzer saying that no, this is real. It's not a storyline. Which and I can
Yeah,
see, I can kind of, like if it's a storyline, AEW is just gonna be a joke because this doesn't. Who wants to see the fucking Young Bucks being a fucking major storyline? Nobody. Like your
I,
payoff is a Young Bucks match for all this? No.
you know, and it was funny. As I thought it was a storyline because people started. Here we go again. I don't want to say it again, but I have to say it. People started saying what I was saying weeks ago. This is the NWO level storyline if they can turn it into a storyline.
Yeah.
Because what was everybody talking about all week? They were talking about this implosion by CM Punk.
Right.
They weren't
Which
talking
we didn't
about
even get to the
Clash at the
implosion part.
Castle. Yeah,
Like,
they weren't
like,
talking about Clash at the. Oh, hold on.
yeah.
They weren't talking about Clash at the Castle, 5-star match between Gunther and Sheamus. They weren't talking about NXT
MJF's return.
2.0. They weren't talking about MJF's return. They were just talking about this. And not only were they talking about this, you even had Sports Illustrated and the big
Yeah.
boys talking about this. So everybody was watching. So that, if you could have turned it into a storyline, that was your NWO level storyline that you could have made.
But
But,
instead, what they did was after Punk's press conference, he goes to the backstage area, and the elite being the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they go and confront CM Punk because why wouldn't you, right? At least if you're.
well, before he even left, oh, and I just wanted to point out real quick before we get to that part.
Yep.
Um, two things. Number one, before he even left the stage, he said, "If anybody has a problem with me,
Right. Right.
come
I'm
up,
sorry. You're
come
right.
up to me and let's go." Like, so he's saying, if you got a problem with it, let's fight over it.
See,
Foreshadowing.
I didn't
Number
take that
two,
as a fight like request. I don't know. I didn't take that as a fight challenge.
well, I took it as come confront me about it,
I did,
which could,
yeah. There's no mistaking
like,
that. Absolutely. But as far as like
which
actually getting
if you're
physical,
wrestlers,
yeah, I just felt like let's go as in let's move on. But potato potato. Sorry, what was the second thing?
the second thing is during this whole thing where Punk is like talking about you have these EVPs who couldn't manage a target,
Right.
the empty-headed dumb fuck Adam Hangman Page, so he's
Yep.
burying the roster. The whole time, Tony Khan is sitting right next to him.
Yep. He's nodding his
So,
head in some spots and laughing and like in no way, shape, or form does he try to like take control of the situation.
Well, he tried a little bit, but
Mm,
Punk was basically saying, "Shut up."
yeah.
Like, and you can just like look at his face and like just see his like, "Oh shit, I can't believe he said that." Like, if you look at his mannerisms, he's like, "Oh no." And you can just tell he's like, "When is this gonna end?"
Yeah. Which I
Now,
mean,
at that point,
he's the
yes,
owner of the company, though. Can you imagine like Vince McMahon allowing something like that to go on that he doesn't want to?
never.
Right.
That would never happen. That person would be fired probably before the conference was over. Um, and yeah, so you're the boss. You need to, I don't know, grow a pair, for lack of the better term.
Well, he should have nipped this in the
And
bud when Punk did that retaliation. Like, okay, at the first like whiff of tension when Paige did that first initial promo that set Punk off. I mean, if that was an issue, then Tony should have nipped it in the bud then. And instead, he was too busy being everybody's buddy, and he let this shit fester. And then he had the blow up at the press conference. And then as soon as Punk leaves the press conference, he gets confronted by the Young Bucks and Omega, and they want to know what the fuck. And I guess punches started getting thrown.
there you go, skipping ahead again.
Where,
We're piecing this in.
what I miss?
Oh, um, I guess that it, but I guess that's it. But
We got to,
just
no.
one
You
other
stopped at
news.
the point where Punk gets up and then walks. What like what
No,
piece did I miss?
I said I wanted to go back,
Okay.
but just the last piece is now who does it look like? With Tony Khan sitting right next to the guy who's blowing up the company.
Mm-hmm.
Whose side does it look like he's on?
Oh,
He's not
absolutely.
siding with the Young Bucks. He's like pretty much egging CM Punk on, just letting him go. Um,
Well, Tony Khan is on record as saying that CM Punk's basically the savior. You know, like his.
he's
I can't remember the exact quote, but you have it.
um, just saying he's the draw.
Yeah, basically it was his marquee signing.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, no,
as soon as CM Punk came into the AEW, like everybody else was second fiddle, which I think is
yeah,
a
and
mistake
it's
because Punk's been injured his entire time almost.
yeah, and so so you have that. Oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Um, oh, so one of the weirdest things during Punk's little press conference, because I did watch the whole thing.
I watched it a couple times.
So during the press conference, what I found weird was, and again, Tony Khan is sitting right next to him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, he says, "I'm trying to run a business here,"
Right.
and you have these guys stepping on their own dick. Like he's talking about, I'm trying to run a business here, and we're building the first $1 million house off my back, which I don't even know what that means. But
He's
it
saying
was weird
that
that
he's suggesting that he drew $1 million for AEW.
yeah, but it was weird that he said, "I'm running a business," not Tony Khan is running a business. He's like, "I'm running a business here, and these guys are children." That was just
I
that
think,
stuck out to me.
well, to me, because he views himself as an independent contractor. To me,
Oh,
that's
oh,
that's how I took it. I thought it was weird that he was eating fucking pastries.
oh yeah. He's definitely eating that pastry.
He was eating the fuck out of those
Like
pastries.
he was hungry as shit.
I
So
wanted a pastry. I was so jealous.
so let's fast forward here a little bit. Um, so he does the press conference. He says, if you have a problem with me, come up to me.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, as you can imagine, the elite they they decided that they would go confront him about it. Now, the story's kind of mixed here because it's definitely a he said she said.
Of course.
Um, on one side, which is Punk and Steele's Ace Steel, who we haven't even got to yet, but Ace Steel is a new character who's going to be important in this whole thing.
Yeah.
um, on their side, they're saying that um, the elite kicked in the door,
Yeah. And they thought it was like
and
a 3-on-1 situation.
yeah, so they felt
Even though
threatened.
Ace Steel was there, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, they felt threatened, and it kind of put them in a fight or flight situation, which turned into a fight.
Which right off the bat, I
Um,
don't believe, because would you be threatened by the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? Seriously. What, they got to do, lisp you to death?
I don't know. I mean, if they're mad at you and it's real,
Mm.
you don't know what's happening.
Okay.
If there's three of them, you know, they could do something. And if you're listening to their story, they did the super kick party on the door to kick it down.
Yeah, they knocked down the door because he didn't answer because Punk was wiped out from his match and the emotional scrum.
Yeah, so according to the Punk side, he's sitting in his locker room
Crying
being emotional, reading the Bible, crying,
with a
and then they
blanket
kick the
over his
door
shoulders,
in.
sipping cocoa.
Yeah, and they kicked the door in, and I was like, "What's up, bitch?" What I'm getting to is there's a backstage altercation,
Yeah.
um, and then on the Bucks side, they they didn't kick the door in; they were let in, and all hell breaks loose when they get in.
Mm-hmm.
So um, Punk says one of them threw the first punch. They say Punk threw the first punch, but we get to a point where there's punches thrown.
But they're both consistent in the fact that Kenny Omega didn't do shit except
Yeah,
getting bit.
Kenny Omega's over here worried about his video
Punk's.
games or whatever he's worried about.
Well, he was worried about
And
in their account. He was worried about getting Punk's dog to safety.
yes,
Which
that's the next part. So Kenny Omega, who's a part of all this. So we have a punch. So we don't know what started it, but we know for sure that Nick Jackson has a black eye because he got punched.
and
We know
Matt
that's a
Jackson
fact.
has a black eye because he got a chair thrown. He got a
Yeah, hold
chair.
on, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. And then so and then we know for both sides agree, we know that Kenny Omega he was getting um, CM Punk's dog Larry to safety.
Well, Punk didn't
Okay.
confirm that part. They all they confirmed was he was initially calm throughout the whole thing. I can just see him like standing on a table, like there's a mouse in the room.
Like, stop it, guys!
Stop
I don't know
it!
why I don't know
Stop it
why
now, guys!
he has a lisp.
Because he has a lisp.
So, in CM Punk's corner is this wrecking ball, crazy psycho pit bull named Ace Steel,
Who he has to be, right?
who, who this guy, from all accounts, just fucked shit up. Like, so from the reports, this guy he threw a chair at Matt Jackson, hit him in the face, gave him a black eye.
He turned
he bit he bit Kenny Omega and pulled his hair.
So he's that guy in the fight that like everybody's like having a gentlemanly fist fight, and he just turns everything up to 11.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Busts
definitely
out a hammer.
yeah. He's the guy who's like completely breaks code, and he's trying to kill everybody. He's just doing whatever he can.
It's okay, guys. I got a gun. Whoa.
Yeah, like who bites in a fight?
Well, I see. I was wondering that too. Um, the there was a report that said that Ace was under the impression that he was being cross-faced by Kenny Omega, so he bit him.
Oh,
One version of the story is that Omega was trying to break things up at the time. Steel was dealing with Nick when Omega came up from behind him to pull him off, and Steel believed that Omega was trying to cross-face him. Other accounts
okay.
noted
So
Steel
then
was trying.
so what I'm picturing is he just like jumps on his back and just starts gnawing away.
Well, see that's that's what I pictured too, because the earlier report said that he was just concerned for his wife. So I imagine them fighting and his wife just like getting incidentally brushed, and then Ace Steel just throwing cheers and just jumping on people and biting their necks and shit. Like, that's my
Yeah,
wife.
like hold on, baby, I got this.
Yeah, he went all Will Smith.
Yeah, so it seems like it wouldn't have been such a bad thing, the altercation, if he weren't there. It seems like he turned it to another whole thing.
Yeah,
But so we have the altercation.
which is currently undergoing a third-party investigation.
Yeah.
Because it's
So
at this.
again, I think it doesn't even get to that level if he doesn't go in there doing the shit he's doing.
Yeah, I think once you start throwing chairs, I think that's when you need to stop and reassess things.
Like, yeah, that's when even Punk should be like, "Whoa, chill, bro."
Yeah. Well, apparently there was a report that he got hurt, but then they said he got injured during the match. So either way, he's going to be out for a while. In fact,
Yeah.
he's going
So,
to be out for so long they um, were going to strip him of his title.
well, so we enter into Dynamite. So that fight happens on Sunday. We enter into Dynamite. Everybody, of course, is now looking to see what Tony Khan is going to do as a response. Uh,
And boy, was
Tony
everybody
Khan,
disappointed.
Tony Khan starts the show. He says, um, the Bucks and Omega are stripped of their titles. By the way, they just won them Sunday.
Yeah.
CM Punk, who
Well,
now won the title back
now
from,
keep in mind he didn't mention them by name. He just said that the titles have been stripped.
yeah, the titles were stripped from
So
Omega and the Bucks because they
they're
were
getting
the
the
trios
Benoit
champion.
treatment.
And the AEW World title, it got stripped too. Also, if you had an eagle eye, you would have noticed that they were also removed from the graphics at the beginning of the show.
Which I would have never noticed.
So,
Ever.
um, and then reports have come out that they've all been suspended. Um, it doesn't say how long. Also, you have Brandon Cutler suspended, Michael Nakazawa suspended, Christopher Daniels. You don't you didn't have anything with them doing the fight, so you can imagine it sounded like they were just the people trying to break it up, maybe, and then
Yeah.
they got suspended for trying to break it up.
Basically, what happened is they were trying to break it up, but Tony Khan decided to suspend everybody involved in the fight.
Yeah. Um. Now I heard something about MJF possibly being involved too.
He was
Um.
him and a another executive. They were neutral witnesses. So because there's
So
so many
he,
people involved, and because it's all the he says she said bullshit. They're interviewing anybody that was in the area, and that just so happens to be people that weren't involved. And one of those people that weren't involved was MJF.
okay, so he's just an eyewitness.
Right.
So yes, we have this big clusterfuck. Um, this the internet. Oh well, as you said. So we have the big clusterfuck. Punk gets stripped of the title. Bucks and the Elite get stripped of the title. Punk also noted, or also coming out of all this, and not because of the fight, he actually got hurt during the wrestling match. He,
Well, see that there's
believably, he tore his.
it seems to be
Uh
like
huh.
50-50 on that. Like some reports are saying it was during the fight, some are saying it was during the match. Like, did you get anything concrete for that?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. But the consensus of it all is Punk is hurt again. He's going to be out 8 to 9 months with a I think it's a torn tricep or something like that. Doesn't
It
matter. He
was
needs surgery.
it was either a torn pec or
Um,
a torn triceps.
and on top of that, he's suspended.
Yes.
Now, I want to know because what it doesn't say, if it was the NFL, you get suspended when you're hurt.
Hmm.
You have to serve that suspension after you're hurt.
Well, they're
So,
well. First of all, he's everybody involved is suspended until the investigation is concluded. So they're not working until they figure out what's going on. Once they figure out what's going on, then the real punishment will happen.
yes. And if you ask people on the internet, because, the internet's a thing,
Right.
they want CM Punk gone from the company. They want him fired.
Well, they might get their, especially if Ace Steel leaves, Punk might just leave in solidarity. Um,
I mean, it's hard to see, and you even have people within the company quoting like saying, "I don't know how Punk's not fired after
right.
this." Um,
Well,
there's
he
no
started
name
it.
put to that, of course, but
Like all
um,
this started because he opened his mouth and wanted to air dirty laundry. Like, yeah, you can make a case that Adam Page may have thrown a barb out when they had their feud, but at least that was in the context of an angle, and there was going to be a payoff because they were going to have a fucking match. It wasn't some shit where he
right,
just randomly called him out when there was nothing planned. Um, and maybe the Young Bucks could have said something different if they were interviewed and they said something out of school. But keep in mind that Colt is their friend, and they were sticking up with for their friend. I mean, I like to think that my friends would stick up for me.
right. And to think all of this happened because of Colt Cabana.
Jesus Christ.
Colt Cabana is the reason your whole company seemingly has imploded.
Well, it seems like
Colt Cabana.
yeah, and I don't know, man.
Like he's a comedy wrestler from. I mean, he hasn't wrestled a lot in AEW. Um, and then when he was like very background, so he wasn't. He's never been like, oh, this guy's going for the title.
Right.
It's always been like one or two off matches on a dark show.
Yeah, he always reminded me of Santino with a American accent.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now, no, I wouldn't say he's worth imploding the whole company over, but you know, when you when there are actual people behind all of this,
Well, at some
I
point
guess you can.
you just gotta let. It seems like Punk has been festering on this stuff, and he even said like he's been eating a lot of shit um, over this exact subject. But at some point, you just need to let it go, man. Like he even said it was what 2014, 2013. And
Yeah,
I mean,
since they've been friends.
so like just let it go.
And he even said I can be friends with who I want to be friends
Right.
with.
So
Like
what do
it's
you
none of your
think? Do you
damn
think
business.
do you think he should go?
Um, I think I don't know. I think he could if he could like if he comes back and makes amends. I could see maybe giving him another chance. I don't know what you do with him storyline wise because you've had two title reigns in the span of you know 13 days and he's been injured
Yeah.
all this time. So I don't know. I wouldn't see you putting the title back on him, but I think as an asset, if he can come back and he's gotta apologize to everybody, of course, and he can't go out and do any promos like that anymore.
Mm.
But if he can put all of that aside, if basically if he can be an adult,
Which, keep in
then
mind, that was a big issue with him in WWE, where he's making
yeah,
presumably better money.
yeah, if he can be an adult, then yes, bring him back. But if it's just gonna cause more of this type of stuff, then he's not worth it.
Right.
Even though it's CM Punk, and if it fails for him, then he's done in wrestling forever.
Which and I don't see how you can bring him back, because it seems like there's so much bad blood, not just between him and like the Young Bucks, or just one or two people, but it seems like there's a lot of people in the locker room that just don't care for him.
Yeah, and
And
that's what I said. He's gotta come back and apologize.
see, and I think that's
And you
it's
and you need the locker room to be on board with it. If the locker room is like no, no,
if it was
then you can't do it.
if it would have been confined to just words, I think that would be something that you can get past. But because it got physical, I just don't think you can get past that. I think CM Punk will forever be compared to Hulk Hogan's run in TNA. Came in with a
Oh,
lot of
I know
buzz. Was
nothing
supposed to,
about that.
yeah. Hulk Hogan came in with a lot of buzz. Was supposed to turn the place around, and ultimately didn't do shit.
Yeah, I know nothing about that. I didn't follow TNA. Still don't follow TNA.
And we kind of
But
do, because that's what AEW is turning into, which I've been saying
oh, that's
since they
funny.
started.
Other people have other people saying it's like the last days of WCW.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, because you know that's what caused WCW to turn into what it was like the the control. Hogan had too much control, and he was getting
Oh, too
everything,
many
and people were
egos.
getting fed up with it.
I mean, I guess I can kind of see that, but I don't know. I would think that Eric Bischoff's was more respected than fucking Tony Khan. Eric Bischoff at
Yeah,
least was only friends with like a select few people, as opposed to trying to be friends with everybody.
yeah,
Was
that's true.
Tony Khan just
But
wants to be everybody's friend. He wants to have a fucking inclusive environment, and just it
why'd
doesn't
you
work
say it
out.
like that? Anyway, and yeah, Tony Khan. I mean, he made a step in the right direction, given the suspensions. At least he finally stepped up and kind of, he was a little bit of a boss there.
Not really.
Again,
He
you
tiptoed
can't
around.
let it get to that point.
He tiptoed around it though. He didn't address it full on. He just like if you were a casual viewer, or you just turned into Monday night, or not Monday night, whatever the fuck it is. You turn into Dynamite and all that happened, you wouldn't know what's going on. And there's a way to
Yeah,
say
that's
shit.
what I was saying.
There's a way to say shit without, because there's a investigation going on. So that's probably the excuse that they would give, as to not saying anything. But you can say stuff without saying stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, like, imagine being a fan that doesn't keep up with the internet stuff, and
Yeah.
then you just tune in and it's like, oh, you're world champion is stripped and your trios champions are stripped. All
Yeah,
right. Why though?
yeah. Not
Like,
everybody's gonna go to Wrestling Observer to fucking see what's going on. I don't even
yeah,
do that unless I'm really interested.
yeah. Some people just want to watch the show.
Right.
Um, so yeah, if you're like the big casual, I just want to watch the show. I don't care about the internet stuff. Then you're probably confused as hell as what's going on. You also don't watch media scrums. Like
Yeah.
you're just sitting there. But the last bit of news that comes out of all this is apparently the Young Bucks put out feelers
Right.
to see if WWE was interested in them. Their contract is up in 2024.
So they got a while.
Um, yeah, they do have a while, but they put out feelers, and
Now,
I think
now I think it was more of a
that's a false
situation where they
story.
were. Well, I think it was more of a situation where they were asking like their friends. Maybe they sent a text message to Cody Rhodes or something. Kind of kicking some tires around. Versus like calling Triple H begging for a job. So
Yeah, but I think it's overall it's a false story. I think it's just, hey, let's get this information out here that we're interested in going to WWE. So when our contract comes up, we get more money for with AEW. Just
see,
like a bargaining chip. I think that's what that is.
I thought it was more for because they're EVPs, so I would think that money, the more money thing is just weird to me. The EVP would negotiate, like an athlete. To me, it just they were using it as leverage for the whole suspension thing. Like it's either us or Punk.
And therein lies another thing. Um, you have some that want CM Punk gone, and then there's other people who are on the camp of you shouldn't have active wrestlers be EVPs.
Mm.
So they should be stripped of those titles,
Well,
the EVP titles.
they should be stripped. I mean, if they had a hand in getting it to the point where it is, because weeks ago, like the tension was already brewing, and then you hear more and more shit and how they were involved. I mean, if they instigated it, they shouldn't be EVPs at all.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing anything denying that they were the ones spreading these rumors.
Yeah,
Like,
like
you know,
nobody's come out and said no, we never said that, or we never. And even Tony said, oh, I should have cut him off when he said that. No comment.
yeah. So no one's really denied that part of it. So I don't know, but definitely, definitely an interesting time in AEW. We'll definitely keep you posted on what's going on there. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the news.
Make sure you check us out on YouTube where we have condensed clips of the show too, so you don't have to listen to 2 hours of us ranting at once or stumbling over our words
Yeah, we
when we're
only
trying
cut
to
the good
wrap up.
parts out onto the clips.
Right.
You get the highlights on the clips.
Like this probably won't be
And
on the clip.
what, this end part?
Yeah.
Definitely not. um, yeah, that's it. I think that's it for the show.
That's it for the show. All right. Well, everybody, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Marks.